with chaos erupting at an independent wrestling event and more. This is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report for May 15th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at WrestlingHubOfficial and also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. With it thought that Roman Reigns could be stepping away from in-ring action in WWE for a more laid-back schedule, Booker T took to his Hall of Fame podcast to discuss the reactions to this. It's hard to make people happy, so I don't think you should think about what people want in certain aspects, especially as far as this goes. For one moment, people are talking about wrestlers work too damn much, and now he's going to take some time off, and they say he's just a part-timer. Which one is it? You can't have both. For me, as a promoter, if I can protect Roman Reigns and preserve him, because he is a guy that I feel is a high marquee guy for the company, why wouldn't I do that? Talking about fans turning on Roman, Booker added, you know what, they probably would. There again, the fans a lot of times, they want what they want. Maybe WWE fans are different. Cody Rhodes, they hated him going out of AEW, and now they seem to love Cody Rhodes. If Roman takes some time off, damn it, he deserves it, bottom line. During a promo video for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, Cody Rhodes would note that the winners of the briefcases will get an opportunity to main event WrestleMania. Now, Ringside News has provided an update on this writing. We were able to confirm one big point of confusion. A tenured member of the WWE creative team confirmed to us that the winner of Money in the Bank is not set for a Mania match, and no one knows why that is being said. It's been brought up in meetings. Writers and producers were confused too. On the DDP Snake Pit podcast, Diamond Dallas Page talked about veterans in AEW helping out newer stars in the company, saying, if you look at some of the older guys like CM Punk and Bryan Danielson, these guys are turning into the real storytellers today. They're out there, they've slowed down because of age, but also their working IQ is better than ever. Their stuff is awesome. I love watching what they're doing. It's helping new talent. It's kind of a mixture of old school and new school because they're still doing some pretty amazing, crazy stuff. Speaking on out of character, Kofi Kingston talked about his debut for WWE in 2008 as a Jamaican character, as he explained how he got here and what led to his accent being dropped. This was my first meeting with Vince. We had a bunch of writers, and they had written out 6 different skits, and they were all me rescuing somebody on the beach because it was trouble in paradise, and that was the line. At that time, you're just happy to get a chance to be on TV, so I'm not going to go through and be like, this is garbage, and I don't think this is going to work. So we're going over it, he's going through all the skits, and he approves everything. We go down to Miami to film everything, and it was a great experience. The first time that everybody on the set was there for me, it was all rotated around and I was the central figure. We taped them, and then they started airing several weeks later. A lot of times, the shows being broadcast, you can put on a set of headphones and listen to everything that's going on between Vince and the truck, the camera guys. As a studious guy, you put on the headset and listen to the show, and my vignette comes on where I buried the guy in the sand. I remember Vince coming on the headset and he goes, ugh, this is barely passable. I was like, oh my god, we got 6 left. But he must know that I'm on the headset right now and he's ribbing me. Years later, I'm like, there's no way he knew I was on the headset. He really thought these vignettes were barely passable. This was his actual opinion and he said it out loud. For all intents and purposes, I shouldn't be here. I go back and I watch those vignettes and I'm like, oh my god, it's cringeworthy. It makes my skin crawl a little bit. It was an emotional roller coaster. Initially when I came in, Vince was like, look, you've got to do everything in character. I want you to do every interview in character. At the time we had WWE Magazine and they would call me. I'd get a 203 number so I'd answer the phone like, hello? Yeah, this is Scott Dorsey and I'm calling for Kofi. Is Kofi there? I'm like, oh yeah, he's here, hold on. What's going on? Kofi Kingston here, what's up? Then he'd ask me all the questions, you know. It was a silly situation because you know that I'm not Jamaican, and I know that you know that I'm not Jamaican, but Vince said that I have to put this accent on, and now we've got to play this game, and I've got to interview with you with this accent on. 15 minutes later, my mom calls me and goes, oh, Kofi, some guy just called me and asked me about your career, and asked if you're Jamaican. I said no, he's from Ghana, but he's just doing it for work. So now I'm like, mom, kayfabe, it's it's over. 2 days later, Leslie Goff writes this article. You can go out and Google it, and it's BBC. Come on, man. You know this is World Wrestling Entertainment. You know there are people out there that play characters on there. The Undertaker is not a walking zombie. He's not actually dead. He's alive and he has kids. So then the article comes out talking about Kofi is ashamed of his culture and heritage. And I was like, oh my god, it's over, bro. I survived these vignettes, this terrible accent, all for this and now it's over? I go to New Orleans, go into the office with Vince and say, Vince, we've got to talk, man. It's over, bro. They know. The cat's out of the bag. He goes, well, you might think that everybody knows, but it's just a small section of people that know, and you're still going to go out there and do that accent. I'm like, no, but then 6 months later, he calls me back into his office and says, yeah, I think we're going to have you drop the accent today. Kingston would then mention the times he went to Jamaica after dropping the accent. I thought people were going to be mad. I can never go to Jamaica, and people were going to be mad that I tried to imitate their culture. I'll never go, and I had never been there before. It was 3 years later that I had an appearance there, and I was like, guys, you can't send me here. They're not going to let me come back. Of course, I go over there and everyone's cool. It was all love and everything was all right. It was liberating to be able to drop the accent, and the only other person who had the same struggle as I was Santino, because he's actually from Canada. We would just sit in the bleachers sometimes and tell our stories, and we could relate to each other. When I finally got to drop it, it was a dap like you got out. It was really liberating because it's hard enough to remember what you have to say to millions of people, let alone how you're saying it. The fact that I didn't have to worry about how I had to butcher an accent and use an entire culture's words was liberating, a big relief off my back. After posting videos of himself and Jay Lethal training in a ring, the Wrestling Observer would report that Ric Flair is looking to make a return to action. While some may want to see the Nature Boy between the ropes once more, former WCW commentator Chris Cruz made a post on Facebook denouncing this decision. Hey you rubes, I screw around here a lot, but this is serious. Ric Flair should not be allowed to wrestle. Some reports indicate he has been working out with Jay Lethal in preparation to returning to the ring. He can't be stopped from doing so in states that don't have athletic commissions and licensing protocols, but insurance companies can step in and refuse to issue a bond to a promotion that books him. And for those states that do have commissions, they should be contacted to demand that they not allow Flair to wrestle. Simply put, Ric Flair returning to the ring is not wise. No how, no way. He's 73, in poor health, and alcoholic, and has a pacemaker installed. Today I emailed the following to the Maryland State Athletic Commission, since I live in Maryland, and will contact other commissions as well. I would encourage you to also email the commission and urge its members to deny Flair a license. It won't take long and could help keep Flair alive. Here's the email I sent. To the commissioners of the Maryland State Athletic Commission. Recently, published reports indicate the professional wrestler known as Ric Flair, who is 73 and has a pacemaker, is considering returning to the ring. Obviously, that is not wise. It's almost as if he wants to die in the ring. I am writing as a citizen of Maryland to express my concern about the prospect of Mr. Flair being granted a license to wrestle in the state. I'm sure you understand how disastrous it would be for the commission if he died in the ring during a performance for which you granted him a license. I'd like to know what standards the commission has for granting a license to a professional wrestler. Is a physical examination required? Are athletes over 70 and who have a pacemaker installed allowed to wrestle professionally in Maryland? I look forward to your reply. Following an IWE Pro Wrestling event show last night in Augusta, Georgia, a fan would attack a pro wrestler after a match, which led to a chaotic scene at ringside. Cassidy Haynes of BodySlam.net would post the video.
Throw him out, bro! Get him the fuck out of here, man! Get him the fuck out of here! Get him out, bro! Hey, he ain't going nowhere. Y'all take him back. Come on, shut up. Shut up.
For an interview with Spin, Chris Jericho talked about his current entrance theme and touched on the reason why he did not change the music when forming the Jericho Appreciation Society and turning heel. Well, the thing about Judas is, it was a hit before I started using it as entrance music, right out of the gate. We did the video, it did 1 million views in a week. Why? I don't know. Whatever reason, people gravitated toward that song. That's why I started using it as my ring music. I needed a new song because I had switched from WWE to New Japan. I thought, well, let me use Judas, and maybe there'll be a promoter who hears the song and brings this over to Japan. Then I realized this is a great entrance song. So when AEW started, I brought Judas over there, and then it became part of the show. For whatever reason, people just felt a real inspiration from that song and wanted to sing it as I came to the ring. Now I did just change my character. I went from being a good guy to being a bad guy. We thought about not using Judas anymore, but then I thought, why? Why change it? My boss, AEW President Tony Khan, agreed, because we have a very unique, very cool moment in our AEW presentation, and the people love singing this song. As a bad guy, I could take it away, but then you're losing this really special moment. People singing Judas transcends being a good guy or a bad guy in AEW. It's just something cool that's part of the show. It's like going to a Kiss concert and they don't play Rock and Roll All Night because they're trying to be creative. It's like, we don't care. That's the song we want to hear. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.